tools to make that fade.
Welcome everybody to Ultraviolet Presents. I'm Kris and I'm joined by Liam and Callum from Junk Bandit. How you doing, boys?
Doing well.
Good to see you, and good to meet you as well. So Junk Bandit got together during the COVID era, the dark times. Tell us about that. How did all that come about?
So Callum had basically written some songs, or had some songs whenever he was kind of in his early 20s. They decided they wanted to kind of actually put to use. So just like it was just before COVID, he wrote some songs. It was actually kind of during like COVID, I think we kind of online had like kind of developed them a wee bit. And then whenever lockdown was over and we were allowed to kind of meet up again, we started recording stuff. And then once several kind of restrictions were done, just started gigging. Yeah.
Cool. And I think the good thing about probably getting together in that time, I kind of said this off camera as well, but it probably gives you a wee bit of room just to kind of figure out what you want to do, what you want to sound like. Am I right? Yeah. Well, that's good. And I'm much the same as well. So talking about writing songs and stuff like that, what does your writing process actually look like? What does it look like in practice?
For the stuff that we've done recently, it's been more like I'll have an idea. Usually I have an acoustic guitar and I'm just like singing away. I'll sing some melodies and stuff like that. And then once I've got the chords, then what I do straight away is like start writing all the lyrics, see if they'll fit. And then if it happens after that, we'll go into the studio and then maybe I'll show Liam and then we'll try and get the beat for it. And then sometimes that can just like completely just change the tune and it's not exactly anywhere near what I thought it was going to be in the first place. And then it sort of just kind of goes through that sort of process of like trying to make it sound as good as it can, you know.
Yeah, I think as well during like whenever it actually comes to recording, like things like harmonies and like things like that, they don't usually kind of get worked out maybe until we start recording it and you actually hear the song back and you go, right, okay, well there's actually space to do this and do that. So
we work with Paul Winton in the North Road Studios, and he's got a big part to play in Junk Bandit stuff as well because he's the guy that sort of gives us like that extra. This sounds good. That sounds absolutely ganting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then that's how the tune ends up finally getting polished.
Yeah.
Cool, nice one. And while we're on that subject as well, so do you think it's important to have a producer that is technically that kind of extra member of the band to help guide what you're going to sound like and what the right thing to do is in certain situations?
I don't think it's essential. I don't think it's needed. But I think for us, it just gives it that extra push to make it sound as good as it possibly can be. Like sometimes I get maybe a wee bit too complacent, going, no, like I get too precious about it. You know what I mean? So I'm like, no, this is my song. Like I want it to like sound like this. But then when Paul gives me that wee bit, you know what I mean? No, try this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Liam's good at it as well. No, try this. And then it's like, okay, right, fair enough. And then I need to hold my hands up and put my ego to bed. You know what I mean?
I think sometimes as well, like producers, I mean, obviously, like depending on who you go to, you're going to get like a different output with a different producer and stuff.
Yeah.
But I think that, once you when you gel with a producer well, you kind of know what to expect. Like, I think that's why we went to Paul like for the 2 EPs that we've got, is because we've kind of gelled well with what he's suggested, and that's.
Nice one. So, what is it all about? Now, how do we listen to the question? And for anybody who doesn't know what I'm talking about, it's the name of one of their songs, and we'll cut to that maybe in a bit. In that song, there's a lot of kind of thought-provoking lyrics and lines in there. There's lyrics about the evil that happens on the news, and there's stuff about apartheid states and stuff like that. So talk to me about, one, what that song specifically is about, if you can elaborate on that. And then secondly to that question, is there a specific theme or thing that you're always trying to put across in your lyrics?
That's a good question. So, what is it all about? It's pretty much how like I view the world, and it's like how it makes me feel more than anything. So, like looking at the news, like you're saying, that gives me a lot of negative sort of emotions, and then it's what I need to like. How the only way I can deal with it is by like sort of writing about the tunes. Do you know what I mean? Because it gives me a lot of anxiety. When I look at like either BBC, Sky News and all that stuff. Do you know what I mean? I try not to look at that stuff anyway, but yeah, and then it's just trying to like sort of trying to brush that to the side and then just focus on the things that I can actually like control, you know, and not the things on the news or on the TV. So yeah, that's for that one. But then all the songs are totally different, you know what I mean? A lot of them are very, it's about like me and what's happening in my life as well, but some of it is about, you know what I mean, more of that sort of stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, like your wider issues, worldly issues. Yeah, 100%. Cool. Nice one. Good. And one thing I wanted to ask as well, just in terms of a lot of the imagery that is in your music videos. So I think you've got like 4 videos on your YouTube channel. And what I noticed was that 2 of them at least have a kind of comedic element to them. And then I think the other ones are a bit more kind of solemn and stuff like that. So I suppose my question is the comedic side of stuff, is that maybe something you would lean into, or is it just dependent on the song, or what's the kind of vibe you maybe want to go for in future releases?
He's your man for this one.
I mean, I think like, so usually like I've done the videos for us and it's all just like DIY just to save a bit of money and stuff, but I think when it comes to like the music videos and stuff, it's just like you said, it kind of just depends on what the song's about. Or so for like what's it all about, because the lyrics are quite, you know, like heavy-handed and they're talking about like quite heavy subjects. I wanted the video to kind of like the kind of whole game show idea was just kind of to like be the complete opposite of that. So it's like what you're seeing, the imagery is quite like it's not supposed to fit, it's meant to clash. You're kind of like reading these things, you're hearing these things, you're like, this doesn't really fit the video, but that's the whole point. So, but I think, yeah, the kind of comedic things like this place as well with kind of box head and stuff. Like I'm, like when I grew up, I was like, you know, I'd watch similar to like bands like Foo Fighters, like some of their videos really serious, and other ones are complete, you know, they're just taking the mix. So like, I like that sometimes. It's like I want them to be fun, you know, I want them to be something like fun to view about them as well. But like ultimately just like those ones, if they're scoped to not take it seriously, then obviously it's to be fun. But for some of the other songs, like, you know, maybe stuff that we've got coming up in the future, I've not really thought about how we'll go about it yet. But, you know, it's just, it'll be the same approach. If it's something maybe more serious, then, you know, that'll reflect that in the tone. But if not, if it's something we can just have fun with, then we'll do that.
I think with the bands that we've been in the past, like, all the music videos have been like quite serious. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I thought it would be quite fun to just like go the total opposite way about it. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Go to mix things up a bit.
100%.
Yeah. Keep it interesting. Good. So 2024, how's it going to look for you?
I think it's going to be pretty busy.
Busy. Got a lot of gigs. Yep. We've got a whole load of other songs that we want to get recording. So I think priority number 1 is to get them recorded. Mm-hmm. So Paul will be getting a phone soon. Yep. I think we've got it'll be another EP, and then just try and gig as much as possible. And so if you know Andy, Andy, once I gig, then we'll definitely play it.
Cool. I'm pretty sure we can sort you out with that. So you're thinking tours?
Hopefully, aye.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
I think we got like last year we did like a wee short UK run, and I think if we can. Again, it's just trying to kind of marry it up with like, you know, plans, whether it be like band plans or outside of like, you know, the band stuff. But ideally, we'd love to do like a UK run or a Scottish, you know, wee tour, which I'm sure we'll be able to manage.
Or Europe or America, you know.
Aim high, always aim high. Yeah. Nice one. So while we're on the subject of shows and tours and stuff like that, do you ever get nervous before shows? Or have you done this enough now that it's just a gig now?
Yeah, I think I've finally got to that stage. You know what I mean? It's took me like 15 years to like finally get to that stage where I don't get nervous. And now I can sort of trick my mind into being like excited instead of nervous. You know what I mean? Which has took a long time.
Yeah.
I think usually I used to just be the guitar player, and now I'm the singer. So like that can have some. I can be more nervous.
It's a different ballgame.
It's a different ballgame, 100%. And if I'm not feeling it that night, do you know what I mean? I've smoked too many fags or something like that. Do you know what I mean? That's when maybe I start like questioning myself a wee bit. But yeah, I don't get it as much anymore.
I'm the same. I used to worry quite a lot about, you know, like drums, the setup. If something was broke, I'd be like, what am I going to do? But now it's kind of, you know, in that situation, I just try to, like what Brandy says, you flip on its head and you go, right, okay, well, this is going to make tonight a wee bit more interesting, so we'll see how this goes. But
yeah.
I think, like, in terms of the nerves, like, we've done it that much now that I think it's kind of, we know how to deal with it now, so.
You have matured as artists, I think they would say. Nice one, man. And do you have any kind of show rituals or superstitions that you kind of do? Because I've got some, but I'm just kind of curious about other artists, about whether they have any kind of rituals that you maybe do before shows.
I honestly don't. I've never had one. Nah, not at all. Maybe have a beer. Apart for that.
I mean, that's mine. But there's a line, of course. Like mine's is always like, I have a couple of Jack Daniels before I go on, but there's my cut-off point where I'm like,
oh, aye.
I can't be mad with it on stage. I've made that mistake many times.
I've made that mistake far too many times, and you always think you're class until someone records you and look at it back and you go, oh my God, man, what was that?
Amen. Amen.
Yeah.
McDonald's before I go.
If I've got time to sneak in a wee McDonald's beforehand, that's absolutely like that's. I like a flat white and a wee cheeseburger or something like that before I can just set you up.
Really, something so heavy just while you're on stage?
I mean, sometimes it can be hit or miss, but usually at least a coffee. That's my one thing. I've traded the beers in for a coffee.
Fair enough. So I'll circle back actually, because I actually forgot to ask this as well, but and it maybe ties in with talking about your music and stuff like that. And I ask quite a lot of bands this as well. So what's your favourite lyric that you've written?
The song probably This Place. That seems to be a bit of a favourite as well for some folk. I know it's Adam's favourite as well, the bass player. But I wrote that when I was working in a homeless shelter at the time. And it's just sort of like, I was trying to like imagine like all the people that used to be in there, and you would get the same folk all the time. And that was like, it was quite, I don't know, it was quite depressing just seeing them in all the time, and then that was, that one meant a lot to me because it was all the people that I knew through that time in my life as well. So I always go back to it, and it's I still get there's happiness in there as well as like the sadness, and that's probably the best one for me, This Place.
I would agree because I remember when at like that period of time when you worked there, and I remember Callum like telling me a lot about that, and I think what he wrote is like reflected really well in what he's singing about. So I would agree. I think that's probably still one of my favourites.
Yeah.
Lyrically as well.
Good answer. I like that one. Do you have a favourite? Is there a favourite like lyric that you haven't written? Do you have one that maybe sticks in the mind that you're like, that's a belter?
I'll leave this one to you, since you're the songwriter.
That's written by another artist?
Yeah.
That's a really good question, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, this is a really like dodgy song, actually, but Immortal Technique. See, was it Dance with the Devil? That's the best story like ever. Do you know what I mean?
100% agree, and if you've never heard Immortal Technique, absolutely recommend getting stuck in, because lyrically, he's unreal, isn't he?
You'll feel dodgy for days after it. You'll never.
What that song's about.
Exactly. But I don't want to go into detail about what the song's about. You know what I mean? But it's a good song.
Yeah, let's keep it PG-13.
Hey, would you settle for PG-13?
Where can we see you play next?
We are playing next, actually, in the Attic, the 16th of December.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. That'll be a good one.
Yep.
I think it'll be class.
So for everybody watching that doesn't know, that show is with us. And who else do we have on the lineup? We've got Del Rosario, we've got Tenterhooks, and we've got Versus as well. So a really good lineup. December 16th. So if you're after a wee Christmas night out, you know where to go.
Okay, baby, I can talk about it. After all, I'm a man. Sometimes I think to myself, then I laugh about it. I am almost fine. Please don't tell me, because I don't want to know.
Right, Callum, Liam. So these last three questions we ask every band these three questions. So the first one is, when the aliens finally reveal themselves and they come to you and say, "Show me what Scottish music sounds like," what bands are you going to show them? Or artists or singers or whatever.
What does Scottish music sound like?
Past or present?
Whatever you want.
What do we want?
Not a greatest hits album.
Not a greatest hits album.
Oh yeah, somebody gave the Alan Partridge answer, didn't they? They were like the best of the Beatles or something, wasn't it? It was something like that, yeah.
I think we need to include like Frightened Rabbit and stuff.
Frightened Rabbit,
That's like kind of essential listening.
A few moments later.
He's got a hand.
I got in there.
Biffy.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Yeah.
Let's go with Biffy. In fact, you need to say the Proclaimers, surely.
Yeah.
You'd need to say the Proclaimers.
Mm-hmm.
See what I mean?
Twin Atlantic?
No.
No.
Sorry.
Some serious shade being thrown here, man. Serious shade being thrown. No, I'm kidding on. He's happy with that?
Aye, go with that.
Right, cool. That's what we're going with. Proclaimers, Biffy,
Biffy will do
Frightened
Biffy.
Rabbit.
Frightened Rabbit, and your man said Mogwai as well.
Yeah.
Aye, Mogwai.
Yeah.
Aye.
Yeah, good shout. I like them as well. So the classic question, the Desert Island album. What's your Desert Island album?
Beatles, Abbey Road.
Cool. Thanks for not saying the greatest, best of the Beatles, the Alan Partridge answer.
One. I think I'd have to say the best of the Beatles.
For me, probably. I mean, I'm a massive Bombay Bicycle Club fan, so I'd probably go for So Long See You Tomorrow.
Good shout.
Good shout.
Do you know what I just heard the other day, actually, man? It's Bombay Bicycle Club and Holly Humberstone.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing.
What a tune?
Have you heard their new album?
I haven't.
It's brilliant.
Really?
It's really good, aye.
Really into that Holly Humberstone, man. I think she's really good, and just randomly found that Bombay Bicycle Club song. I was like, that's a banger.
Yeah,
Aye, no, it's
really
great.
good.
Yeah.
Great.
Aye, nice one. Right, last question. And this is one I want to make sure that I always ask every band. How do you want your music to be remembered?
See, I try not to think about anything external like that. Like, see, if you like my music, like that's nice, and if you don't like the music, then that's fine. Do you know what I mean? Like, I try and like write the tunes just because like I like writing the tunes. Do you know what I mean? And I like it's nice to like bring it out and like that's all great. But I try not to try and get like this external validation from anybody or anything. So as long as I can remember the music, then I think that's fine to me. Do you know what I mean?
I think like first and foremost, I think you write for yourself, and like that's the thing. It's like if you write and record something, you're like delighted with it, and you're happy with it, and then that's the main thing. And anyone that listens to it after that, that's like total bonus. You know?
Right.
So.
I'll second that. I like that answer. Right, brilliant. Right, so we'll wrap it up there, boys. So you were talking about this new song that you've got out, or you've got coming out. Have you got a date for it yet, or are you kind of still in the midst of working
Not
that
yet,
out?
working it out.
Yeah.
Cool. Right, that's fine. So we can't give you an exclusive on the date for the new release, but what we can say and reiterate is that you can see Junk Bandit at the Garage on December 16th. Yeah, I think we'll just wrap it up there. But thanks everybody for watching, and thank you boys for coming in and having a chat with us.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, all the
Cheers,
best.
man. Thank you.
Cheers.
Okay, baby, I can talk